Last weekend I watched about 5 hours of I'm quitting Etsy videos, and I wanted to see if there were any patterns or any commonalities of the reasons why these people were quitting Etsy, and they actually fell into three pretty distinct categories. Of those three, there was really only one reason that was a good reason to leave Etsy, and it's something that you might want to keep in mind as your home-based business develops, but there's really only one good reason to leave Etsy, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get started, if you're not familiar with me or this is the first time that you're here to this channel, my name is Kara Bunton. I'm a longtime Etsy seller with 3 shops. I have over 43,000 sales in my main shop, and I do YouTube videos to help other home-based creative business owners get their businesses to where they want them to be. So let's get into this quitting Etsy thing, because there's always a lot of noise with certain people who are mad about things or whatever, saying they're going to quit Etsy, they're not coming back, and they never really do. But when I got into watching these, I wanted to see if there were any common threads or like rational reasons for leaving Etsy, and if these people actually did stay off of Etsy as a selling platform after they said they were going to. So what are the 3 categories of people who said, I'm leaving Etsy forever, I'm never coming back? All right, the first category is people who were basically kicked off of Etsy for violations, and so it was really not their decision to leave Etsy. Those weren't really a why I'm quitting Etsy kind of videos, but that's how they were promoted, and most of them were for things like copyright infringement. And I actually saw a couple where people said, yeah, I was an infringer, but I'm off of Etsy now. And the truth is that that kind of copyright infringement is not going to fly on any platform, so it's not going to be too long before the next platform kicks them off too. Some people had Etsy shut their shops down and they had no idea why. And this actually, Etsy has a history of doing that, and they have a history of closing your shop. You go there, it's closed. They don't send you emails, they don't tell you why, and you have absolutely no idea what you did. Etsy also has a history of reopening shops without telling you why either. So sometimes people had their shop shut down, and then in a week it came back up after they'd been emailing frantically with no response, and suddenly their shop was back. This actually happened to a few people who I watched on YouTube talking about this, and they pretty much all did go back to selling on Etsy after their shops were reopened. Some of them said they didn't, but I did go and do searches for their shops to see if I could find them. And for most of them, I could find something. Whether it was the same items or not, I don't know. But most of them did reopen a shop on Etsy. And the main lesson that we can take from this is the don't put all your eggs in one basket thing. You have to have more than one selling venue just to be on the safe side for your own business. And most of the people who this happened to said that they were in the process of setting up a website after this happened, because having their Etsy shop shut down scared the bejesus out of them, and they were not ready to have that happen to them again. The second category of people who said they were quitting Etsy forever and never coming back were doing it because they were mad about something that Etsy was doing. Anytime Etsy changes something, there are going to be people who are mad about it. In fact, the investor presentation that happened last week, where Rachel Glazer, who's the CFO of Etsy, was presenting, she was talking about how whenever Etsy changes something, they send out surveys not to see if they should change it, because they know that they're going to, but they send out the surveys to see how mad people are going to be when the change happens. And she actually used the phrase, it was something like, we want to measure the amount of rage that's going to be coming our way. Now, increasing fees is one thing. We all know that things go up. We know that fees go up. We know that Etsy, honestly, their fees are not that high compared to other platforms. But there are a whole bunch of other things that Etsy does that makes people mad too. The first thing that always comes to mind is Etsy's terrible customer service. It's really hard to find anyone to call if you have an immediate problem. So let's say that Etsy shuts your shop down and you can't get through to customer service. Well, yeah, that would definitely be a reason to be bitter and to be angry, even if they reopened your shop later. I would not be excited about opening my shop and still relying on that 100%, because it could happen to you again. However, the truth is that most people on Etsy are not going to encounter that kind of situation. So you can sell on Etsy for years and never have that happen to you. It's possible, it's not likely, but when it does happen to you, it's going to be a problem. So if that does happen to you and you want to get off Etsy because of it, because you don't feel secure about Etsy anymore, totally understandable. That's a good reason. But the problem is, where else do you sell after that? And that's the question that keeps people on Etsy even when they really want to leave. A lot of the people who said, I'm mad at Etsy, I'm getting off, they really didn't leave Etsy. And it's probably because they don't have another place to sell online, and they're kind of trapped because they've limited themselves to only selling on one platform. It's really difficult to justify leaving a platform if you're making a full-time income on it and you don't have a way to replace that full-time income if you do leave it. And because of that, I will say once again that everyone needs to start your own website now, because you don't want to wait until you have to do it and you're hysterical and crying because your shop has been shut down and you don't know why and you can't get anyone on the phone. and you're desperate. That's not a good time to start a website. Before I get into the third reason that people leave Etsy, please give this video a thumbs up. It does help my channel, and it tells YouTube that you like this kind of content and to show it to more people. So the third reason that people leave Etsy, and this is really the only kind of logical one that I saw out of all of the three, is that they were not making enough money. And that is the reason why you should leave Etsy. So this third group wasn't making money. That could be, sometimes it was just because they weren't making enough sales. It could be that they were selling on other platforms and it was bringing them more money on those platforms. And some of them had problems with the offsite ads fees, where Etsy was advertising some of their more expensive and heavier to ship products in a big way on Google, and people were coming and finding them when they should have found them on their website, or they were, there's any number of situations where those offsite ads fees will add up and eat into your profit so much that it's just not worth selling those items on Etsy anymore. So this group was either not making enough money to justify staying on Etsy, or they were making enough sales that Etsy was taking a bigger cut and that was eating into their profits. So even though they were working more and making more things, they weren't making enough money. Now the key to understand here is that it is a lot easier to make a logical decision about whether you want to stay or leave a platform when it's not your only option. If you're sitting there thinking, if I leave Etsy, I'm going to be dead in a ditch and eating from the dumpster and I'm going to be broke because I won't have any money, then it's not a good time to make a logical decision about leaving or staying on the platform. What every Etsy seller needs to do right now, if you have not done this already, is to get your own website or start selling on other platforms, whether it's Amazon or eBay or Ruby Lane or social media. It doesn't matter. So the common denominator with all those businesses that actually did leave Etsy and did it in a logical way was that they had other ways to make money. They had other venues where they were selling, they sold in person, they had other streams of income. They did not have to rely on Etsy alone, and that gave them the freedom and the ability to make a logical decision based on the actual facts and not on pressure to stay on one platform because you're reliant on it a little too much. Now, I will say right now, selling on any platform is voluntary. No one is forcing you to sell anywhere. You can leave Etsy anytime. You can leave it anytime. Don't blame anyone else if you decide to stay on it, and don't blame Etsy if you decide to stay on it. I am not an affiliate for any website program. I don't sell how to build a website. I don't have classes about how to build a website. I don't care where else you sell. You just need to sell somewhere else. If you're a member of my eShop Success Program, go into the bonus sections, and there are sections in there about selling at farmers markets, selling at conventions, writing ebooks, teaching classes. There are a lot of ways that a creative home-based business can make money other than just selling in one platform online, namely Etsy. And whenever I say anything about this on any of my videos, people argue with me in the comments. Websites are hard, websites are expensive. They're really not that expensive if you look and compare it to Etsy's fees, but we'll just put that aside. But yes, they are hard, and that's why I'm saying do it now. Don't wait until you're under stress because Etsy has closed your shop. Just give yourself that little extra piece of insurance that if something happens to your business and you're suddenly in the position of making a YouTube video called "I'm quitting Etsy forever," that you have somewhere else to sell. Because whatever the reason that you decide to quit Etsy, the reason has to be because you are making the decision, not because Etsy made the decision for you. So watch this video next, and I will talk to you later.